We are back with some more dilation videos for, these are triangles. They don't always have to be triangles, just so you know. The ones I just happen to have are triangles. But we do have the 3 points, so A, B, and C. That is our green triangle that I have drawn already over here. I did do the drawings already just because it takes a little bit more time, so I don't want to make the video super long. But if you take a look at the second triangle, which is the purple one, you can see those are the coordinates right there. There is the drawing. So if we started off with the green triangle and we went to the purple triangle, you can see that it obviously got smaller. So when I'm looking at that scale factor, what I did was over here, you can see I kind of just blew up a piece of each of those triangles. So our A and our B, which was the green one, had a total of 4 blocks long. So I just kind of counted the blocks just to see. And then I took the purple one and I did the same thing. So I took that same segment of A prime, B prime, and counted how many blocks I got, and that was 2. Now, if you saw the other video that I did with the center of dilation being 0, 0, then the numbers, when you multiply them from the first one by the scale factor, in this case, we'll talk about that in a second, you should get the corresponding new coordinates for the new image. However, you're not always going to have the center of dilation being the origin or 0, 0. So that's not always going to work. So that's why I'm kind of showing you guys this method, because that way you can kind of look at it. So we always take whatever the new current length is. So in this case, the new and current length is the A prime, B prime, which is 2. And I have that up here in the numerator. And then we divide it by our original size, which in this case was 4 blocks long. And when I reduce that, we get 1/2, which makes sense because we started off with a bigger triangle and we made it smaller. Anything from above 0 to less than 1 would make an object smaller. And then anything over 1 is going to make it bigger. So they're in the same orientation. C and B and A are all pointing the same directions as they originally were. So that's why it is a positive value. If it's negative, that means that it's been rotated or flipped or, reflected somehow. But since it is in the same origin or same setup as far as that goes, like we didn't do anything negative to it. So we're just making it a smaller number. So that is a fraction. So it matches up with what we got right here. Now we're going to just check this center of dilation, because if I look at these numbers, 1/2 of 1 should be 1/2, and that's not what I have. So these numbers don't kind of line up with what that rule works with, only when it's the origin, which means this is probably not going to be the center of dilation, should not be the origin. So in my last video, I showed you this. I'm going to try to do this as best as I can with one hand, but you are going to line your 2 A values, or A and the A prime, up with the ruler. And if I can do this, so we're going to just take that and we're going to sketch a line. And I'm going to try to do this. Let's see if I can do this like this. So what we're going to do is we are going to sketch that line. You just draw it however long you need to. That should be good. And as you can see, it's a little off, but we have this line right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to check it. Man, that's really off. With the next points, which would be B and B prime. So you're going to line those 2 up. And you were going to do the same thing. You're just going to try to see where they intersect with one another. Move this a little bit more. And you see where they intersect, which really should be right here. They all should intersect at the same spot. So, of course, I'm trying to do this with one hand. If I didn't have my stand with me right now, I could do this, but I don't have it. So we're just going to go with the flow. And then you just, oops, I'm going to do the same thing with this last one. And again, this is totally off, but this should be right here at 2, 3 is where it should be intersecting if I was doing this nicely. And so that is my center of dilation. So it's at -2, -3. And so it's not at 0, 0, which that rule applies to. So that's why these don't actually multiply and get the same numbers. So when I write my description on here, My description should just be that triangle ABC was dilated by a half. So again, we're using the word dilation because it is either increasing it or decreasing it. In this case, it's decreasing it size. And it has a center of dilation of -2 and -3. If you want more questions like these, you can find them on my YouTube channel, YouWantAlgebra. Also Instagram and TikTok, all the same name, and the playlist for these is under the transformation section.